My name's Jaymi Anderson, and I started my journey with yoga and meditation in the 90s. I had a friend from California who gave me a VHS tape of Patricia Walden, and I practiced yoga with Patricia Walden on VHS for a few years. And not long after that, when I was in college, I took a meditation course that introduced me to a lot of yogic and meditation concepts. The book that they gave us with this meditation practice was a translation of the Yoga Sutras. I didn't realize this until later, really. And so I kind of got introduced to the spiritual concepts and the meditation practices of yoga more intently than I did in the asana practice. Yoga has played an incredible role in my life. I've been practicing it for about 20-some years. And it's something that I've returned to over and over again in times of stress and strain in my life. And it always kind of sets me right. It's almost like when I'm practicing, I kind of move like this. But when I'm not practicing, I'm kind of all over the place. And so when I've lost my balance or when I have lost my centeredness, it's a practice that has never failed to bring me back to the core of who I really am, to find out who I really am and what kind of person I want to be in the world, how I want to respond to the world and the circumstances that arise in that world. Some of the key benefits that I've learned from practicing yoga for a long time have basically been more mental than anything else, but I am a little stronger than I used to be 20 years ago when I began the practice. Primarily, it has taught me how to remain calm in challenging circumstances. It has allowed me to be more of a reflection of the light and the true meaning of who I know I really am. And the work of yoga is about removing those barriers, kind of pulling off the shades, so to speak, so that the light that is already within you, that is already pure, that is already perfect, can shine without any clouding around it, I guess. And so the reason I keep returning to the practice is because, we all get cloudy every once in a while. And it's really helpful to have tried and true techniques that are both physical, that address the body, that are mental and address the mind, and that are spiritual and address the sacred, that allow you to basically every time you do these practices, whether you believe they will work or not, they do kind of work on you. A lot of people come to yoga kind of looking for flat abs and accidentally find God. And I was the opposite. When I first began to practice yoga, when I first began seeking in that realm, I was looking really, really hard for God and accidentally got flat abs. So the origins of yoga are in India. There is some scholarly debate about how long ago these practices were invented and began being utilized. But at least many thousands of years ago, we have the Vedas, and we also have the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, and these are pretty ancient texts. So the Vedas are in fact the oldest sacred text that we know of in the world. The ancient practices of yoga are very not physically based, and this is something that I think is a misconception in the West. We think of yoga in part and parcel as just the physical practice. But the origins of yoga are more mental. We begin with yamas and niyamas, which address the way that we approach ourselves, how we respond to crisis and challenges and things in the world. And then we address how we respond and work with other people and what our relationship should look like. We move from yamas and niyamas into pranayama, which is breathing exercises. From the breathing then to asana practice, which we're more familiar with in the West, physical movements and routines that you can work through to strengthen the body and create wellness. Om is a symbol that is frequently seen around the yoga community and yogic culture. So Om is the universal sound of all creation. Every single thing is basically made of moving parts, and everything that moves creates a sound. But those sounds are traveling through our tissues, they are reverberating in our bones. Bones in particular are incredibly acoustic. It's kind of an interesting thing. And so Om is a way for us as limited human beings to intentionally participate in this universal sound. We do it with our breath. This Om idea is very central to yoga because it allows us to connect. It's something that anybody can do, unlike some of the other longer Sanskrit mantras that I sometimes chant in my practice or during class. So it's accessible to everyone. It's free technology. Om is kind of like an app for your body. When you tune into this, it's a free download, right? You get this app of Om and you allow it to take you places. You allow it to purify your mind. think one of the most important takeaways from living a yogic inspired life is that you are always doing yoga. You are always one with the universe. It is not really an option to not be. It is a state of being that you can create using these practices as tools that allow you to live in a state of union with all other living things, as well as union with universal consciousness.